Okay, style. Inside the head we'll have title, and title is going to be IDs and classes. Okay, so refresh it. Okay, so what do you think would IDs and classes refer to? What do you think it would refer to?
In general like an identification of you.
Exactly, very good, very good. That's exactly the same thing. So basically, why do we need to use IDs and classes? For example, what do you think, how many H1s or how many paragraphs or how many images do we have in one website? How many images, let's say how many images do we have in one website? Multiple, exactly. So is the styling for every image same, or we have different styling for different images? Exactly, we have different styling for different images. So we have to target each image separately. So that's why IDs and classes are necessary to basically refer each elements uniquely. For example, let's say I'm going to create H1. Let's say I'm going to say this is red. I'll copy it, Control C, Control V. All of them are going to be H1s, okay? But this is going to be, let's say, I'll say green. For this, I'm going to say, let's say, blue. Okay, save it, refresh it. Now we have this is red, this is green, this is blue. Okay, now I want to style them. What should I do? I want to do internally style them. Where should I go? What should I write? How do we internally style something?
But style
Where should I put the style?
on top.
On top, like in the HTML?
No, like on top of H1.
Inside the head. Okay,
Oh,
inside the head. The internal styling is just inside the head. Okay, so I'll put style, opening tag, converting tag for style. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I want to target these. Let's say I want to target H1. So if I were to write, let's say H1, and then I'll say, let's say color is equals to red and then semicolon. What do you think is going to happen when I refresh this page?
It'll become red.
Which one? The first one?
Yeah.
And what about these two? Look, I have three H1s, right? This is red, this is green, this is blue. All of them are H1. In the style tag, I've put selector as H1, meaning that select H1 and then put the color to be red. So is the first one going to be red, or all of them are going to be red? What do you
The
think?
first one?
Okay, what about these two? Aren't these H1 as well?
Yeah, they are.
Yes, so basically what we are doing here
Also,
is,
all of them?
yes, exactly, this H1 is going to select every one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, if we have, let's say, 10 paragraphs, and if I write P here, it's going to select every paragraph, all 10 of them. Okay,
Yeah.
so H1 and then color red, save it and then refresh it. Now all of them are red, but we don't want it like this. This one should be green, this one should be blue, and this one should be red, right?
Yeah.
So but how can we achieve that? We can achieve that using IDs and classes. Okay, so basically ID is like a unique number. Okay, just like I don't know, what do you have in America, like the identification? We have CNIC here. Do you guys have CNIC, something like that, the identification thing?
Yeah.
So basically it has a number, right? It has a number that basically
Yeah.
identifies you. So it's the same thing. The IDs in CSS are like the IDs we have. Okay, so what about the classes? If IDs are the unique number, what about the classes? What are classes?
Like, would it be different? Like, more than one?
It can be more than one. Exactly, very good. There's another difference.
I don't know that one.
IDs are unique. Okay, IDs are unique. If you assign an ID to one thing, you cannot reassign that ID. Okay, but in the case of classes are basically like names. For example, if you have a name, let's say we have a name Ali, So is there only one Ali in the world, or we can have multiple Alis in the world?
No multiples.
Exactly. Classes are like that. Classes are like names, and IDs are like CNIC number, the unique number identification number. So that's the difference between IDs and classes. IDs are unique, classes are not. Okay. So how do we assign? How do we assign the names? So just like we write attributes, classes are like same. For example, I want to give this h1 a certain name. Okay, so what should I do is, inside the opening tag, first thing I'm going to do is put the space. Okay, and then in order to assign the name, I'm going to say class. Okay, and what should I do with the IDs? If I want to assign the ID instead of class, I write
ID.
exactly. So after the class, I'm going to write equals to, and then just like the attributes, I'm going to write quotation marks. Now inside this red, you can give it whatever name you want. It can be anything, but it shouldn't start with the digit. Okay, it can start with a digit. Yeah, we can write digit after the name, after the alphabet, but not it shouldn't be in the first place. Okay, for example, give me a name for this h1, a sensible name. Give me a sensible name for this one. It can be anything. Okay, so what do you think this, shall we call this one?
Red.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say give it a name of red. Okay, again, for this h1 we're going to assign the name. So how should we assign the name? Like, how should we assign the class? Where should it go? Inside here, inside here.
H1. The first opening.
Exactly, the opening tag, and then the first thing is, what's the first thing?
Space.
Space, good, and then I'll write class equals to, and then quotations, and inside the quotations I'm gonna write whatever you want, but it should not start with 1 or 2 or 3 or any digit. Okay, it can start with alphabet and then following up with the digit, but it shouldn't start with a digit. So let's say, let's give it a name of green, and for this one, space class equals to quotations, and let's give it a name of blue. Save it. I'm gonna erase this one, save it, refresh it. Okay, so now what we want to do is, we want to specifically get them. Okay, we don't want to get all of them at once, we want to specifically get them. So if I want to get this first one, what's the name of this first one?
Red.
Red, exactly. So now the concept is, how do we call the classes? How do we get the classes? Like, if I want to get all of them, I can write h1 and all of them are going to be targeted. Okay, but if I want to get single one, I'm going to call it by the name. So how do you call classes in CSS? You write dot. Okay, if you want to get the classes, you write dot following up with the name of that class. What was the name of this class? This one, this h1.
Red.
Yeah, red. So I'm going to write what? Dot, and then red. This is going to be now my selector. And other syntax is the same as we have did with the previous ones. Curly braces. Inside the curly braces, let's say I'm going to write color to be red, and then semicolon. Save it. Now what do you think? Which one is it going to affect? The first one or all of them?
The
The first one.
Why is that? Why should it affect only the first one?
Is it because you selected that?
Exactly, because this one, the name of this one is red, and I've selected the red one only. So if I were to refresh it, it's going to affect only the first one.
And that's because of the dot, which was the class selector?
Exactly, yes.
Is that
Because
what
we
you
have
said?
assigned this h1, the first one, the class of red. So that's why it only targeted the first one. So let's say now I want to target this one, the last one. What should I do?
Instead of red, you're gonna write blue.
Exactly. But I want to have this styling as well. So I'm going to keep this one as it is.
You're
Yeah.
gonna add blue.
Exactly. After the red, just the blue, like this.
No.
Dot blue.
Dot blue. Yes, good. Blue, and then curly braces. Inside the curly braces, I'm gonna do whatever you want, whatever you have to specify. Let's say for the time being, we're gonna write color, and then blue, and then semicolon. Save it, refresh it. Now we have this as blue. Okay, what about this one? How can we target this one, the middle one?
The same way.
The same way. Should I do it here?
Would
Should
it
I
be in the middle?
outside the curly braces? Yes, outside the curly braces we're gonna write what? It's a class, so basically classes are selected by a dot. Yes, and then following up with the name. What was the name of this one?
Green.
Green. Yeah, so dot green curly braces, and then let's say color to be green. Save it, navigate. Okay, is it easy?
Yes.
The concept for classes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do an ID as well. Okay, and after that we're gonna discuss something else, something more about the classes. So first of all, let's do the ID. So let's say h1 again, h1, and let's say give it this is an ID. Save it, refresh it. Mostly we're gonna use classes. Okay, IDs aren't used that much. Mostly the classes are used. Okay, so but you should know how to use IDs as well. So inside the h1, the first thing you would do is space, and then instead of class you'll write ID. Okay, equals to quotation marks, and then let's say big, let's say give it a name of big, and then inside the style tag, how do you think should we target the classes IDs? Should it be same like classes, or should it be different?
Different.
Exactly, it should be different because both of them are totally different things. So in order to target the IDs, you'll write hashtag. Okay, and the name of the ID, that is big, and then the curly braces, and then let's say font size, let's say 50 pixels. Save it, and now this is big. Okay, so the main difference is the IDs are unique. Like if you've used big here, you cannot use it again anywhere in your code. Okay, because IDs are unique, but classes can be used over and over and over again. Okay, save it, and then
If we
remove.
use it again, then what is gonna happen?
It's not gonna work.
If we,
It's not gonna work.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, did you get the concept about the classes? Classes are basically like giving names. Okay, this was the first concept. The second concept, we have multiple classes and mutual or common classes. Okay, can a person have more than one name?
Yes.
Yeah, but can a person have more than one registration number?
No.
No. So that's the difference. So let's say I want this red to have another name. So how do you put multiple classes inside the classes, inside the curly quotation marks? You're gonna go here and you have to put space. Now this space is really important because this space is basically separating the two classes or three classes or four classes or whatever classes you put here. Okay, this space is really important. So let's say I'm gonna say big here, save it, refresh it, and also for the last part I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna put space and then I'll write big here as well. Okay, now we have how much classes in the first one? Two, exactly, because of the space. Okay, the space is basically separating both of these classes. And for the last one we also have the same class as the first one. So what do you think if I were to target big? The first question is, how do I target this big class? How do we target the big class? Should I just write big, or is there something else I have to write first?
Hashtag.
Hashtag is for the ID. There's another thing I have to put. Dot, yeah. Dot, and I'll write big. So what do you think would happen if I were to call this class? If I were to write, let's say, font size, and let's say 60px, which of these are going to be affected? I've given the font size of 60 pixels to this big class. Okay, so what do you think out of these three are going to be affected?
All.
I've targeted only the big. Yeah. Which one?
The first one and the last one.
Exactly, good. The first one and the last one. Why is that? Because this big class is assigned to the first one and the last one only. The middle one doesn't have the big class. Okay, so if I were to refresh it, only the first one and the second one are going to be affected. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So did you guys get the concept of multiple classes and mutual classes or common classes? Did you guys get
Yeah.
it? So can you repeat it for me? What are classes? What are classes? Come on, you said
Class
you get it. Yeah, classes are what?
classes are like the name for the element.
Exactly, very good. If you want to separate them, like separately call them, we use classes. And what about the IDs?
The identification.
So what's the difference between class and ID?
IDs are more unique.
Exactly, good. Very good. So what about multiple or mutual classes? Can we have more than one class?
Yes.
Yeah. And how do we separate those classes?
Do you have to use the ID?
No, no. You have to use a space in order to separate the two classes or
Oh
three
yeah.
classes. How much classes you're writing here? Okay. Okay. So shall we move towards the next topic because this was, I guess, quite easy. Yeah, the classes and IDs. So let us move towards the new topic, and this new topic is going to be really interesting because we are going to actually design an actual web page. Okay. For this class,
Okay.
we are going to design an actual website that is, let's say, the home page for Facebook. Yeah, this one. We are going to design this form. Okay, for today's class, we're going to design this form, and for the homework, you have this form. Okay, and you haven't
Okay.
submitted your homework, the yesterday's homework. So you have to submit both of them at a time. Okay. So for the homework, you have this registration form for the Facebook, and for the classwork, we have this form. Okay, but in order to create this form, first we have to study about the forms. Okay, I'm going to remove this, all of this, save it, refresh it, and I'm going to again generate the boilerplate HTML. Then inside the HTML we have head, and after the head we're gonna have body, and for the title we are going to say forms. Save it, refresh it. Okay, so before starting the topic, tell me about forms. What are forms? Like, what do you think forms are? And I'm pretty sure you have come across forms like all your life too.
Generally, what they are,
Yeah. What are forms?
like forms are where you fill out your information.
Exactly, where you fill out your information. For example, if the website wants to take some data from you, how is it going to do that?
I get your information.
Yeah. How is it going to do that?
I ask you questions.
In which form? Like, for example, this Facebook is asking me for email and password. So what this Facebook is doing is it's asking me for information through a form. For example, if you were to submit a form for college, what do we do if we want to submit information about the college for the college? We fill out the form that the college has to offer. Okay. So basically, what are forms? Forms are basically elements that take in information from the user. Okay, and forms are really important when it comes to backend, because first you have to take the information from the user and then you have to submit the information to the database. Okay, so let's talk about forms inside the body. So everything has a tag. Similarly, forms are also going to have a tag. Okay, so we're going to write form, opening tag for form, and then this closing tag for form. Okay, now inside this form have two main elements. Okay, form has two main elements. One is called label and the second one is called the input. Okay, so what is this label, or what is this input? Let me show you. Let's say I'll write here forms and then HTML. Let me go to the image, and yeah, this one. Let's say this one. Okay, so this is basically like a really simple form. So no, it's not really good. Oh yeah. So what you see here is it's like a paragraph, but for the form. Okay, label is what? It's like a, sorry, is there a question? Okay, so basically label is what? Label is like a paragraph but for the form. So what you see here as first name is basically a label, and this box is where you put your information, and this box is called an input box where you input your data. Did you get the theoretical part of it? Okay. So let me repeat it again once more. So basically, form has two main elements. One is label, and the other one is input. Okay, label is basically it basically tells you what that input box expects from you. Okay, for example, this first name is saying that this input box is going to accept first name from you. Okay. Okay. So let's do the practical part for it. Okay, so again, form has how many elements? Two main elements. One is what? Label. Yeah. So how do we put label? Again, label, opening tag for label, and then we have closing tag for label. Okay, so inside the label we can write whatever you want. Let's design this form. Okay, so the label is going to say first name, and then there is a colon here, right? There's a colon here, so we are going to put colons and then save it and then refresh it. So can you see it? Let me zoom it a bit. Yeah. Okay, now we have this label. So label is like basically a paragraph, but they are specifically for the form. Okay. Okay, now after the label tag we are going to put, like, we want to put our information. So what is the tag for that? Exactly, good, input. Now input is a self-closing tag. What is a self-closing tag?
It doesn't need a
Exactly.
closing.
It doesn't have a closing tag, so that's it. Input, and save it and refresh it. Now you have a box where you can put in any kind of information you want, whatever you want. Okay, it's this simple. Simply a label and an input. You just have to write input and you have your own input where you can put information. Okay, but again, it's not that simple. So this input takes in a lot of parameters, a lot of attributes. Okay, so the first attribute is really important. So the first attribute is type. Like this, every input has a type. Okay, what does type refers to? What do you think type would refer to? Like, what should be the context of this type in this input?
Numeric or
Oh,
alphabetic?
exactly, very good. So basically this type refers to the data, the type of data you want to put. Either it can be numerical, either it can be alphabetical, either it can be password or emails or anything. Okay, so we're going to discuss those types. So let's say type, and then what's the syntax for writing attributes? First we write the name of the attribute, and then the next thing is,
Comments.
sorry, what should we write after the attribute name? Did you guys forget?
Colon.
No, no.
Equal?
Equals to, and then the quotation marks. Okay. Inside the type, so the first type, there's a lot of types. Okay. So the first type we are going to discuss it. So like I want to put that the alphabets. So what do you think the type for alphabets should be called? It is called text. Okay. So this text can accommodate any kind of data. Like you can put alphabets, you can put numbers because text can be numbered. You can put special characters, you can put anything inside the text. When the type is specified as text, you can put in anything. Okay. Okay, so what do you, another question, what do you think label is? The inline element or block element?
Inline.
Inline, yeah. What about the input?
Same thing.
Same, yeah, because they are lined side by side. Okay, so can you see here in the Facebook email address or phone number? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as I start typing, it vanishes, right? As soon as I start to write something, it vanishes. I want to do the same thing with my input. So how can we do that? Like as long as we don't write anything, there's something that is being shown, but as soon as we start typing, it vanishes. So it's really easy. So input has another attribute that does it. So the attribute is called placeholder. The name itself is indicating what this attribute is going to do. It's going to hold the place as long as you don't write anything. Okay, so placeholder, and then equals to quotation marks, and then you can write whatever you want. Let's say I'll say enter your name, and to make it more stylish, let's say dot dot dot. Save it, refresh it, and now you have this placeholder. But as soon as you write something, it will vanish. Okay, any question about placeholder or type, or should I repeat it? Should I repeat it or it's good? Okay, great. So let's discuss another type. Okay, so again I want to do this. We have first name, and let's say we want to get age from the user. So the first thing we have to do is put a label so that user should know what he has to type, what she has to type in it. So how do we tell the user what the input expects? By using what? By using label. Okay, so after the input, we're gonna say label, opening tag for label, and then closing tag for label, and then we will say your age, colons, save it, refresh it. Now it's after the input. Okay, why is that? Because it's an inline element. But I want this age to be on the next line. How can we do that? Do you guys have any idea? Because in your assignments you did use that tag where you get the element to the next line. Now
BR.
Very good, exactly, the break tag, very good. So after this input, I'm gonna write BR tag. Now is BR self-closing or you have to close it?
It's self-closing.
Exactly, it's self-closing. Good, very good. So BR is what? BR is break tag. It does what? It basically breaks your line. So after the input, it's going to break the line, and anything that comes after this BR tag is going to be placed to the next line. Refresh it, and now we have your age in the next line. Okay. Okay, so after the label, we're going to put something where the user can input the information. What's the tag for that? Where the user can input the information?
Input.
Exactly, input. Good. So input, and then we'll say what? Type equals to
quotation.
good, and then quotation. What do you think the type for age is going to be? Like, can age be an alphabet?
It's gonna be numbers.
Exactly, good. It's going to be a number. Save it, refresh it, and now you have this input. But this input is not going to take any. I'm typing, okay? I'm typing, but I can't type anything. Why is that?
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, when you put input type and numbers, do we put text here too?
You cannot put text here. That was my question. Look, I am typing, okay? I'm pushing my buttons on the keyboard, but it's not doing anything. Why is that?
Because it only allows them.
Exactly, very good. It only allows the number. Now if I were to write number, it's allowing me. But if I were to put any text, any characters, it would not allow me. But there is a loophole. There is a loophole. So I'm gonna press a key, and it's going to be a character, and it is going to allow it. Look. Why did it allow E to be inside this field? Why did it allow it? What do you think? Do you guys, like maths or anything?
No.
Okay. Okay. So, but we did study E. We did study something about the E in mathematics. I guess in 9th or 10th grade. Did you guys study about E? E is really important in math. Yeah, it only allows the E part. Nothing else. Only the E character is allowed. Like if I were to write anything else other than E, it won't do anything. What do you think this E represents? E is really important in maths. and I'm pretty sure you guys did study it in your, I guess, 9th or 10th standards, or maybe 11th or 12th. So basically E is the exponent. Did you guys study about it, the exponent?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so this E basically represents an exponent, although it's totally illogical. Age cannot be an exponent, but again you can say it's an error in HTML. So I don't know why they allowed it, but it is allowed. Okay, so there's nothing you can do about it. But other than that, other than E, you cannot input any character, any alphabetical character. Only the numbers are allowed. Okay, for the type number, only the numbers are allowed. Okay, so I also want to write, as long as the user doesn't write anything, I want to display something like enter your age or anything like that. What's the attribute for that?
Is it placeholder?
Yeah, good, placeholder. How do we write the placeholder? The first thing is
A space.
space. Yeah, good. And then
Placeholder.
very good, placeholder attribute name, and then equals to, and then quotations and whatever you want to show the user. Let's say enter your age dot, save it, refresh it. Now you have also another question, these two are combined. I don't want to, I want some space between them. What do you think I should do? Like if I were to use CSS, how can I put
Would you
space
do-
behind this?
Would you do BR again?
Yeah, I'm gonna do BR again. But if I were to use CSS, how can I put space, under this input?
Margin?
Very good.
Yeah,
Exactly, the
margin
margins.
bottom.
But we're not using CSS at the moment, so I'm gonna put what? BR again. Save it. So it's gonna break the line again. Okay. Again, let's say we want to ask user for its password. So what do you think? First we have to tell the user that you have to put password in this field. What's the tag for telling the user that what's this input field is asking? What is the tag that tells
Is
user?
it label?
The label. Very good. The label. Opening tag, closing tag for label, and let's say it's gonna say password, and inside the input, and after the label we're gonna have input, and then input is going to have a type. What do you think the type for password is going to be?
Password?
Password?
Yeah, password. Save it, refresh it, but I want it in the next line. What should I do?
BR?
BR, yeah.
BR.
Put BR 2 times so we can have 2 line spacing. Save it, refresh it. Now if I were to write anything, basically password is text input field, but password is going to be hidden by default. Okay, so this type password is going to do what? It's going to hide whatever you are writing. Okay, you guys haven't asked me about this I thing. Did you guys see that I thing? Whenever you type password, so we have this I appearing over here. If you click on that, it's
Oh
gonna,
yeah, where you can see it, right?
yeah, exactly. So basically that is, you can say that is kind of like advanced level of thing, and we are going to do it when we are going to study JavaScript, inshallah. Okay. Okay, so again I want to add some fancy stuff here. As long as the user doesn't do anything, it should display it, and after that, as soon as he types in, it's gonna vanish. So what's the attribute for that? Placeholder equals to quotation, and let's say enter your password. Save it. Okay, great. So now what we want to do is, I want to ask user its birthday as well. Like I want to ask when was this user born. Okay, so did you guys about the label? Did you guys get the concept about the label and the inputs, or should I write it again, or should I copy it? Just copy it. Should I write it again, or can I
No,
copy
I
it?
think we're good.
Okay, I think we should copy it, and then let's say this label is going to say DOB, and also put some spacing here, BR, and then the type for password is going to be the type for date of birth is going to be date. Now what this date is going to do is, it's going to give you a calendar. Like you can choose whatever you want. Just by writing type date, you have a full-fledged calendar. Okay, you can choose whatever date you want from here. You can choose any month, you can choose any year, like anything you want. Okay, just by writing date. Okay, Let's say I want to ask user the time he was born in or she was born in as well. What do you think the type would be for the time? What do you think the type for that would be? Exactly, good, the time. Save it, refresh it, and if I were to click here, now we have this time. Currently it's showing me the local time here. Okay, if you were to do it there in USA, it's going to show you the time for the USA. Okay, so just by writing time, you now have access to this time field. Let me put BR as well to get the spacing. Where is this BR? BR, copy it, paste it. We have two DOBs. Remove it. Okay, now it's good. But BR should be before this label. Okay, so let's say now we are making, let's say a software for a restaurant management system. Let's say we have a restaurant that is asking us to make a software for them. So we are working on this, let's say, a reservation module. So what do you think a reservation form should have? Which fields, how many fields does the reservation form should have? What do you think?
What's inside the form?
Yeah, what's inside the form? If the user is
the name of the person.
name, yeah, we have this name, good. And then we don't want the age.
The date.
Okay, the date, exactly, good. The date, here we have the date and
The number of guests.
the number of guests, very good. So what do you think the input type for the number of guests would be?
8.
The number of guests. Number. Exactly, number. So this is another thing, this is a really important thing, that when do they want to reserve it? Okay, the date and the time, we have them as separately over here, but what I want right now is I want to have date and time in the single field. Okay, did you guys get the question? What I want to do? Like at the moment we have date separately, asking the user for the date separately and asking the user for the time separately. Okay, but what I want now is I want to have the date and the time together. Okay, is it okay or not? Like I want to ask the user for the date and time in the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it again. Let's say I'll say date and time, it should say this. Let me put BR tag here. And now for the type, when you want to get the date and time simultaneously, the type for that is date time and then dash local. This is really important. If you don't write dash local, it's not going to work. Refresh it. Now we have this really long field and it's going to take what? It's going to take date and it's going to take time from you as well. Okay, so what do you think this local would refer to? This local.
Local time.
Exactly, good. The local date and the local time. Okay. For the next field, we have a lot of types, but you just have to, you don't have to memorize them. It's going to come to you in the time, and when we're doing actual, we're designing actual website. Okay, you don't have to memorize them, but you have to know them. Okay, let me copy it. So let's say we are making a website for a shopping center. Let's say shopping. Okay. So we want to, the admin is asking us that if I want to upload a product, if I were to, add a product in my website, I should be able to choose the color for that product as well. So what do you think the type for that would be, where the admin can choose the color for the product as well? What do you think? Like where I can choose the color for the product as well. If I want to choose the color, yeah, exactly, the color. Save it, refresh it. Now you have access to every color that has been, developed in this modern world and modern age. You have access to every color just by writing what? Color. Okay, you have this RGB value. I'm going to explain what this RGB is in the later classes. then we have the hex value, then we have all of the values. Okay, but for the time being you need to know that just by writing this input type color, you now have access to every color that we have currently.
This is the colors for the products.
The products. When we, let's say, design for any website, for the, let's say, an e-commerce website, we're gonna use this color input where the admin can choose the color, so the user are going to be displayed this color, that this product is available in this color. Okay, I guess you must have came across these types of website where the admin, where the website specifies that this product is available in this color.
Yeah.
So basically it's done using this color type. Okay, I guess that would be it. And yeah, there's another thing. If you were to get back to here, can you see this, the date of birth part, this one? If I were to click here, I have this drop down open where I can choose whatever the date I want, whatever month I want, whatever year I want. Okay, so when you yourself want to write something somewhere, it's called an input box where the user inputs the information. But for this part, are we inputting something or are we just choosing something for this part? Exactly, choosing something. So this is not an input box. Input box is where you input the information, where you yourself manually input the information. This is called a select box. Why is that? Because you are selecting information from this. Okay, so how do we create this? It's really simple. So instead of input, but you have to stay inside the form. Okay, this is the part of the form. So inside the form we're gonna say select, not input. We're gonna say select. It has an opening and it has a closing tag as well. If we were to save it and refresh it, it's gonna have this little drop down. Can you see this little drop down? But if I were to click it, it's not going to show anything. What do you think? Why is that? Exactly, we have to specify something inside the select box where the user can select it. So inside the select box, for these drop down menus, these things, these little items, for that we have another tag that's called option. You have some options where you can select from, so that's why it's saying option. So we have opening tag for option and closing tag for option, and this option can only work inside the select. You have to memorize this, that this option only works inside the select. So let's say I'll write 01. Let me copy it again, and for this I'll write 02, 03, 04, 05, whatever you want, but make sure all of these options are inside the select box. Refresh it. Now we have this drop down as well. Okay, did you get the basics? I don't want you to get it right away. I know it's kind of complex. As we are progressing, it's getting difficult. I don't want you to get it right away. You have to practice at least 2 to 3 times in order to get all of this. Okay, so if you don't get it right away, it's not a problem. You're gonna get it anyway, inshallah. Okay, so are we clear on the select part and inputs and label part?
Yeah.
Okay, great, because now we are moving towards actual websites. Like I want to create this form you're seeing here. Okay, in fact not this form only, I'm going to create all of this. Okay, so let's do it. Let's start working. Let me remove all of this. Let me generate the boilerplate HTML, and you guys are going to tell me how can we do that. You're going to walk me through all of this, okay, because you have studied every part of it.
Wait, how do you create the button? The login button?
Oh yeah, I totally missed that part. So it's really simple. You just simply write button, opening tag and closing tag for button. That's it. And you can add whatever you want. Let's say I'm going to say click me. If I were to refresh it now you have a button. Okay, just by writing button you have a whole button.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Wouldn't this be in the tag of the form?
It is going to be inside the tag of the form. Why? Because the button is going to submit your information, but you can write button anywhere you want. Like it hasn't always have to be inside the form. It can be anywhere. Okay, great. So let me write the title. So title is, let's say, Facebook, and it's gonna say login or sign up. So now we're moving towards actual website. It's going to be really interesting. So okay, now I want you to think like an actual designer and an actual developer. Okay, I want you to think like that. And how an actual developer or a designer thinks, you have to, there's a big problem. Okay, all of this page, it's a big design. You have to break this design into certain parts. Like you have to travel in a hierarchy from top to bottom. So what do you think the first thing we should do is? Should we write off start designing this form, or should we do something else first?
No,
Yeah. What should we do?
write Facebook.
Exactly. Good. Now this Facebook is not a heading; it's an image. Okay. So inside the body, we're gonna say what? I'm gonna right click it, and then I'll copy image address. Okay. Copy it. And how do we, get images on our website? Now it's gonna be, it's basically going to revise all of the concepts that we have discovered in the last 5 classes. It's gonna like merge all of those concepts. So I want you to memorize, I want you to get all of that knowledge and then tell me about it. So how do we get the image on our website?
You already copied the link
Yeah,
address?
I already copied it. Right click, copy image address. Now I
Yeah,
have
do you
the
have to put the tag image?
Yeah, good. ING. And inside the image, what should I do?
Space.
Space.
Storage.
SRC, very good. And then equals to quotations, very good. And then paste that link. Save it, good. Refresh it. Now we have this image, but there is a problem with this image. And what is that?
Size.
It's too big. Yes. So how do we, resize it? Very good. The width attribute. So after the image, space. Then I'll write width equals to quotation, and let's say 300 px. I guess it would be enough. Nah, it's good. It's very big. Nah, it's good. It's good. It's good. Okay. So now we first have to, get this image right in the center, like dead in the center. How can we do that?
Text align.
Image is not a text. We did discuss it yesterday.
Margin.
Yeah, margin to be. How much margin should I give it? Like, do I have to manually calculate all of it?
Auto.
Exactly, good, auto. So, but I can't do it right here. Where should I do it?
The center.
No.
Inside the head.
Inside the head and then inside the style tag. But I have to give it a name as well so I can specifically target it. How do I do that?
Class.
Class, good, very good. And after the image, I'll say class equals to quotations, and let's say give me a name. Let's say I'll write FBIMG. Okay, FB dash IMG. Now these two are not separate classes. This dash is basically doing what? It's basically separating it, but it's still the same class. Okay. So inside the head, we're gonna write style tag, and how do I target this image? How do I target it? Come on, we've just studied it.
Dot.
Very good. Dot, and then and
The image name
the
FB.
FB dash IMG. Good. Okay, you've told me exactly right that we have to put margin to be auto in order for it to make it go in the center, but it's not going to work. Although this property is perfectly alright, but it's not going to work. Why is that? It's really important what I'm about to tell you, because margin auto only works on block elements. Okay, margin auto only works on the block elements. Okay, and this image is inline element. Did you guys get it? That margin auto, why is margin auto not working?
Because it's an inline element?
Exactly, it's an inline element. So what's the solution for that? How can we get this image in the center? Just take a guess. I don't want you to actually tell me that. Just take a guess.
Do we have to change the size?
we have to change something, but it's not the size. You know, you've told me yourself that this image is an inline element. So can we, somehow change the actual inline attribute to an actual block attribute? We can. How can we do that?
Can you somehow turn it into a
Yeah, exactly. Good. We're gonna turn it into a block element. How can we do that? With the display property. Okay, by default, this image has a display of inline. Okay, but what we are going to say for this image is display to be block. Save it and refresh it. It's right dead in the center. Okay, did you guys get it, or should I do it again?
Again.
Again, yeah. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to do all of it again. Okay, so
It says your meeting will end in 5 minutes.
so let me start another meeting and then we'll do it again. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
so let me close it. Okay, so we have this image. We have given it a class of the name of FB image. So how do we target this? How do we target?
Display block.
Yeah, good. No, first we have to target this image now. How do we do that? I need to first target
Dot.
this image. First we
Oh,
have
yeah.
to go inside the head, and then
Dot.
there's another thing.
Style.
Yeah, exactly. The tag for style. Opening tag for style. If you want to style something, we have to specify it that we now want to move towards something new. So now we want to get this image. Now you have what you were telling is how do we target this image? How do we target
The
the
display
target?
block.
No. We have to first target it. No? Like I want to get this image
Dot.
from HTML. Yeah, dot. And then
FB.
FB dash img. Good. Why did we put dot here? This dot.
To target it.
To target, and dot is used to target what? The class. Good. So if you want to center an element, if you want to center a text, what's the property for that? For the text. If you want to center the text. No. The text. Text line. Exactly. So if you want to center an element, we have which property? The element. If you want to center an element, we have the property of margin. Yeah, margin and the value of order. Good, exactly. Good. Save it, refresh it, but it's not going to work. And what was the reason for it not working?
Because it's inline.
Exactly. Good, because this is an inline element and margin auto only works in the block elements. So what should we do?
Convert it to block.
Exactly, convert it into block. So what is this block? Block is basically a display. So we have to convert the display of inline into the display of block. So what's the property for that? For changing the all of this? Display. Good. Display, and then change the display into block. Save it, refresh it. Now we have this text in the center. Okay, let's move towards this next part. What do you think this is? A heading or paragraph? What do you think this is?
A paragraph.
Yeah, it is a paragraph. Let me copy it and let me go inside the HTML, because HTML is going to write it for me. CSS is just going to style it. So under the image, I'm going to put a p tag and I'll give it a name. So how do I give it a name? How do I give it a name? Space.
Class.
Good. Equals to quotations, and let's say I'm gonna give it a name of my para. It's the same class. It's not two classes. It's the same class. This dash basically tells that these are two words for the same class. So what about this? If I were to put space here, what does this mean? Yeah, good. Now we have two different classes. Very good. So inside the para, I've copied it already. I'm gonna paste it. Yeah, Save it, refresh it. Okay, now the first thing, I want it to be a little bigger. How do we do that? Very good, font size. But first I have to target it. How can I target that paragraph? Very good, dot. And then the name. Very good, the name we have specified as my para. And then inside the my para we're gonna increase the size. What's the property? Font size, let's say maybe 30 pixels. Save it. Yeah, it's good, it's good. But there is a problem. If you were to look at Facebook's paragraph, it's basically, it's small. So how can we do that for this? Like, the font size is good, but the actual thing is small. How can we do that? Yeah, you've already studied this property. Font size for the text. No, I want to shrinken all of the actual element. Look, let me give you a hint. I'm gonna turn on my pesticide. Did I tell you about the pesticide? Yeah, I'm gonna look. If you were to the little bug. If you were to look at this paragraph is taking up this whole space. So what I want to do is I want to shrink it a bit. What's the property for that? Here's another property.
You want to make it smaller?
Yeah, I want to make it smaller.
The font size?
Font size is going to make the text smaller. I want to make the element smaller. What do you think? We have studied this property. It was yesterday's topic. Look, this is the element. I want to do this. Just like I did with the image.
Okay.
Exactly, the weight. So I'm going to decrease this, my para's weight. We did it yesterday. So let's say I'm going to say weight to be 50%. Now this percentage was very important. What does this percentage mean? Whenever I say percentage, it's always relevant to something. So what is this 50% relevant to?
The parent?
Yeah, the parent. And who's the parent of my para? The body, exactly. Why is that? Because this paragraph is enclosed in the body. Okay, so save it, refresh it. Now we have this small. So what I want to do now is I want to get this paragraph and get it into the center. What's the property? In order to take all of the block in the center, all of the element in the center.
Margin.
Very good. Margin to be auto. Save it. Yeah. But also I want to have this text in the center as well. Now the text. Now the element, the text.
Text align.
Very good. Text align in the center. Save it. Refresh it. But let me increase a little space for this. Yeah, now it's perfect. Okay. So let's move towards this. There's another thing, there's another problem, that our body's color, the ball of the body's color is white, whereas if you were to look at Facebook's, we have this different color, right? Can you see the difference between our website, the R color for our website, and the Facebook's body? Yeah, there's a difference. So how can we know what color is Facebook using? What do you think? How can we know? There should be something. And that something is another extension I want you guys to download. It's called Colorzilla. This one. This extension is really important as a front-end developer, as a designer, as a front-end developer. Why is that? Because it allows you to pick any color from any website you want. Okay, so after installing it, after adding it, I want you to pin it. After clicking this puzzle icon, you have to locate that Colorzilla extension, and I want you to pin it. Click on this icon. It's gonna pin it permanently on your toolbar here. So now if you were to click on this here, if you were to now click first visit the Facebook, and then if you were to click on this icon, it's gonna open this plus icon, and if you were to go anywhere and click it, it's going to copy that color for you. Okay, so I want to change the color of my body now. How can I do that?
Like you want to change the text color?
No,
The
the background.
so background color?
Yeah, first I have to do
That's what we
something
will
else as
write
well. First I have to target it. Huh? How do we target all
with
everything?
the dot.
Sorry.
With the dot?
I want to target the whole thing, the whole white part, this body part.
This style again?
Sorry.
Style?
I already am in the style. I am in the style part.
No,
Background.
dot.
I want to target the body now. How can I target the body?
Oh, the body. Uh,
How do you think? We already did it like in previous classes. If I want to target like the entire thing, I'll just write body, because body is not a class, body is not an ID, body is an actual element. Okay, so I shouldn't write dot, because if you were to write dot, the CSS would think that you are calling a class, whereas this body isn't a class, it's an actual element. Okay, body, and then I'll write background dash color columns and then save. What in the world is this color? Is this a color? Yeah, it is a
That's
color.
numbers.
Yeah, these are just numbers, but these are like the standard format for colors. In a website or in any application, in a technical world, this is the standard form of colors. It's
So how
called,
would we know what is this color?
you wouldn't. In fact, CSS sorry, when we use Visual Studio Code, it's gonna put a little, a color preview beside this one. Okay, so that way you'll know what color this is.
So can we just write the color we want?
What do you think this color
Is it-
is? The color for the Facebook is using. What do you think this color is? It's not blue. It's some shade of blue. Okay, so we
Oh.
cannot actually know the exact name of that color,
Oh,
because that
okay.
color is categorized into like a million more colors. Like how many shades do you think this blue have? The actual blue color, like 1,000, right?
Hmm.
So you wouldn't actually know there isn't a name for these colors. To be
But if
honest.
you
Yeah, yeah.
because we are copying this specific website, we don't know the specific color. But if we were to just write a regular color, like for an example, I would write background color and I would write red. That would change it to red?
Yeah, yeah. It's going to change it for two red.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is when
Okay.
you basically copy from somewhere. It's gonna be
Oh,
like this.
okay, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but again, this is the standard format. You need to know this. Okay, this is the standard format. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is called a hex code. Okay, hexadecimal code or hex code. So why is it called hex? What do you think? Did you
Is it
guys
because
study
of the numbers?
because of the numbers? Yes, because of the certain
because it's
amount
a
of numbers.
hashtag.
No, because of the certain amount of numbers. Did you guys study chemistry in the high school? The chemistry.
Yeah.
So there was
Yeah.
this organic chemistry topic, I guess. Did you guys study that?
No.
Okay, so there was basically a topic for organic chemistry where they teach you about the I guess monoxide and something like that, mono, penta, and something like that. So basically, hex is a Greek word for six. So we have these 6 digits alphanumerical values. So that's why it's called a hex code. Why? Because we have 6 alphanumerical characters. Okay, save it, refresh it. So did it affected? Can you see the difference?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a difference.
Okay, so yeah, now we have this different color. Now we are going to move this towards this actual part, this one. What is this white part?
Form.
Yeah, exactly, good. So where do we design this form? Inside the style or inside the HTML?
Inside the style.
We have to design it first. Like create
Of
it first.
So HTML. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
inside the HTML and under the paragraph. Okay, let's start. So what should we do first? First we have to create what? What
The
is this?
form tag.
This one. What is this? It's a form.
Oh,
Yes. So we're gonna write form, opening tag and closing tag. Okay, inside the form, what is the first thing you see? Exactly, good. Do we have label here or just the input? Do we have label or just the input? Exactly, good. We have just the input. So inside the form, we're going to write a tag for input, and it'll have type. So what do you think the type for this input be? It says email or phone number. Now email is text and phone number is number. So what do you think the type for this input is going to be?
Text.
Very good, text. Why is that? Because it can accommodate numbers as well as characters. Good. So let's say text. So what is this thing that's written like email address or phone number? What is it called? As soon as,
Placeholder.
yeah, good, placeholder. So we'll write placeholder, and the placeholder is saying email address or phone number. Save it, refresh it. Now we have this input. Okay. So let me first design the form. No, let me first create it and then I'll move towards designing. Okay, after this input we have another input. Yeah, so again I'll write input, and what do you think the type for the next one would be for this one?
Password.
Good, the
Number.
password.
Oh, password.
And what do you think the placeholder would be? Placeholder is going to say what? Password.
Same thing.
Save it, refresh it. Now we have two input fields. We're going to style them later on. Okay, first let us create all of it. Now after this, the second input, what do we have after the second input? This one,
The login.
the login. What is this login?
The button.
Good, it's a button. So opening tag for button and closing tag for button. And what does this button says? It says
Login.
log in, and let me also give it a name because we have multiple buttons and we have to call them separately. So let me give it a name of, let's say, login dash btn. Btn meaning button. Okay. Okay. Now after this button we have this thing. What is this called?
Forgot password.
It's saying forgot password. What's the tag for this?
Is that
Anchor.
also a button?
No.
Anchor.
Anchor. Very good. It's an anchor tag. Very good. So I'm gonna say A because if I were to click on this one, it's going to take us somewhere. So that's the job for the anchor tag, and the anchor tag is going to say forgotten password and question mark. This A tag takes something from us, like where do we want to go, and what is it called?
A link.
Very good. The link has special name. What's it called?
HREF.
Yeah.
Exactly, good, very good. Space and then href. But the thing is, we don't want it to go anywhere. We want it to stay on our website. So what we are going to do is we are going to provide it with a dummy link. Okay, it's not going to be an actual link, but it will be seen as a link. Okay, so how do we put dummy links? We just simply put hash sign here. It will
Got it.
behave like
Also,
a link. Okay, it will behave like a
after
link. Sorry.
after the password, question mark, I think you put a bracket.
Yeah. We have a good question mark. Okay, great. So basically, it's going to look like a link, but it's not going to be an actual link. Okay. Now
But
after
we could
this,
click on it. We could press on it,
yeah, you can press on it, but it's not going to take you
but it
anywhere.
won't navigate us.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Good.
Got it. Got it.
So what do you think this is? Can you see this? This it's a really dull thing. This is really dull, but there is something. Can you see it?
That line.
Yeah, this line. What is this line?
HR.
Very good. HR. So HR is a self-closing tag, so we're going to just write HR. So after the HR we have what? We have this another button,
Another button.
and we'll also give it a name so that we can distinguish between this button and the first button. Let me give it a class, and let me say create dash btn. Okay, so this button is going to say create new account. Save it, refresh it. Now we have this really beautiful looking form. Yeah, so we now have to style all of it. So when it comes to styling, I need you to know something, that you have to style in levels. Okay, first of all you have to style the parent and then the children. So what do you think for this part? What do you think is the who do you think is the parent, who are the children for this part? Who's the parent, who's the child?
The form,
Exactly, the form is what, the child or parent?
the parent.
Exactly, good. The form is the parent and the input are the children of that form. Okay, now this is really important. You need to know this before we start styling. The form is the parent. Why is that? Because these inputs are enclosed in this form. Okay, so let's start the styling. So always remember that the parent is styled before the children. Okay, the parent is always styled before the children. So how do we target the form?
Dot form. No,
Dot is for
because
the
the
classes.
just form.
Yeah, good. Just form. Why is that? Because form is an actual element. You have to put dot only when there is a class. Okay? Form and then curly braces. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to see where this form is spanning. Like I want to see how much width and how much height this form has. So for the time being, I'm just going to put a border here. Can you tell me about the properties this border takes? Yesterday we discussed about it. How many properties does this border take?
3.
Very good, 3. And what are those 3 properties? The first one is?
Width.
Very good. Width, let's say I want to put a 5 pixels border so I can see where it is. The second thing is?
Style.
Very good. The solid, very good. And the third thing is?
The color.
Oh, very good. Exactly, the color. Save it. Refresh it. And now we know that we have this form that is spanning like the 100% of the screen's width. So what is it? The form is a block element or an inline element?
Inline.
Form is taking how much space?
Oh,
So it's a block element, yeah. So the first thing we want to do is we want to shrink the size. We want to reduce the size of the form. How can we do that? We've just did it with this paragraph.
With the width.
Exactly, good. With the width. So I want to have this form the width equal to this paragraph. So the paragraph's width was, I guess, yeah, 55. So for the form, we're going to say the same thing. We'll say width to be 55. Now I want you to remember this width. As we progress, I want you to remember this width, okay? 55%. Refresh it. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to get this form in the center. What's the property for that?
margin.
Very good. Margin and then order. Good. Very good. But I want to have space from top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'll write this. Now can you tell me what this would refer to? Like 50 pixels, space and order.
50 pixel will be the spacing from the top.
Very good. Top and bottom.
And the
auto,
bottom, yeah, would be the left and right.
Left and right. So basically it's going to get it to the center from the left and right and 50 pixels from top and bottom. So save it, refresh it. Now we have space from top and bottom, but the left and right part is in the center because of this margin order. Okay, the second thing we want to do is, if you were to look inside this Facebook form, we have this space from the inside. Yes, we have the space from the inside. How can we put that space, like from the inside? What's the property for
Wait,
space?
padding.
Exactly. Good.
Padding?
Good. Padding. Padding, and let's say a little space, maybe let's say 20 px. Now we have space from the inside. Are you guys following up on me? Like, is it okay? Is it easy?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Okay, so now I want you to tell me what should we do next. Like, we've made the form, we've reduced the width, we've got it in the center. What should be the next step? There's still a lot of work to do.
You have to style it more.
We have to style that?
You have to style it more, right?
Yeah, style it more. That's what I'm asking from you. What should we style next? Like, what should we do next? Like, this is our form, and this is the
The
Facebook
font
form.
and stuff.
The input.
And there's another thing we should do.
Input.
Yeah, exactly, the input. We have now to target the input. If you were to see our inputs and the Facebook's inputs, there's like a grave difference between them. So how do we target the inputs? I want to target both of them at the same time. What do you think? What should I target? I'll say input. Now if I were to say input, it's going to target all of the inputs on our website. Now currently we have only like 2 inputs on our website, so it's going to target all of these 2 inputs. Okay, very precious. Okay, the first thing I want to do is, now this is really important, I want you to pay really close attention to it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make these input take up the full space. I want them to take up the full space. How can we do that?
Like display it as a block element.
No, there's another thing we can
Do
do.
you have to do the width?
Exactly, good. We're gonna say width. Now, how much width do we have to put in order to take it up to the full space?
100.
Yeah, 100.
Exactly, good. The 100%. Now, this 100% is really important. I want you to get this concept. Like, it's really important. Now, when I said 100%, what does this 100% refer to? What does this 100% refer to?
100% of this from the parent
Exactly, very good. And who's the parent of the input?
form.
Exactly, very good. So basically what it's saying is, I want you to have 100% of this 55%. Okay, why is that? Because this input is the child of this form. So this percentages is always and always relevant to the parent. So the input was a child of the form, so that's why when I said 100% is going to take up full space of this parent's width. Okay, so this input is also going to be 55% as compared to the body. Okay, inputs are always and always relevant to the parent. So for the form the parent was body, so that's why it took 55% of the body, that is its parent. But for the input we've said 100%, this would mean that 100% of its parent, that is form. So if I were to save it and refresh it, you'll see that it takes up full space of its parent. Okay, should I repeat again? Should I do it or should we continue?
Continue. We could continue.
Great. Okay, the second thing we want to do is, I want to, if you were to look at the Facebook's input and our inputs doesn't receive, doesn't have what? Like if you were to see these inputs and compare them with these inputs, what's the difference?
They need padding.
Yeah, they need padding. Very good. They need spacing on the inside. So we're gonna say what? We'll say padding and let's say 10 px. Is it good or should we put some more space? I think we should put it more. Let's say 15 would be enough. Yeah, it's good now. Also, what should be more for these inputs?
Margin.
Exactly, good. Margin, very good. So we're gonna say margin and I'll say 10 px and 0. What does this mean?
And 10 pixels from the top and bottom.
Very good. Oh, very good, exactly. Refresh it, but I guess 10 is too much, so let's say 5. Yeah, 5 is good. 5 is good. Okay, also, if you were to look at Facebook's borders, the input borders, they are really beautiful. They're looking really beautiful. Whereas if you were to look at our borders, well, I can't say the same thing for them. So what do you think we should... Sorry?
It needs to be round.
It needs to be round. So how can we do that?
Border, range.
Exactly, yes, good. Border radius, and let's say adjust a little bit round. So maybe let's say 5 pixels. Yeah, it's good. Also, now we have this the black thing. What is this black thing? This one. That's surrounding our input.
The border.
The border, yeah. We have to make it beautiful. How can we do that? That's a border. It should be only 1 pixel. Like it should be 1 pixel thick. It should be a solid line, and it should have a color of light gray. Save it, refresh it. Now we have this really beautiful border. Also, this form should have a white color. If you were to see here, it has a white color, whereas our form doesn't have it. So we're gonna go inside the form, and we'll say background dash color to be white. Save it, refresh it. Okay, now we have this white color, and I guess now we can remove this border as well. Remove it. Yeah, now it's looking good. Also, we have to make our form rounded. How can we do that? The same thing. Border radius, maybe let's say 10 px would be enough. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, let's move towards this part. This login. I want this login to take how much space?
All of it.
100% good. So I need to target only this button. So what was the name of this button? I should scroll down a bit. It was, yeah, it was called
Button.
login BTN. Yeah, login dash BTN. So let me go inside this file, and we'll say how do I target this button? Dot good.
And the name of the button.
Yeah, dot login dash BTN. And we'll say I want it to take up full space of its parent. How can I do that?
Width equals
Good.
width
Equals
100%.
very good. 100% of its parent. Good. But I do need space from the outside, from the upper part only. No, from the bottom part as well.
Margin.
Good. Margin. And how much does it? 5 pixels from top and bottom, and 0 pixels from left and right. Good. Great. Also, I need space from the inside of the button. Very good. Padding. How much did we give to the inputs? I guess it was 15.
I'm not sure.
I guess it was, yeah, it was 15. Save it, refresh it. No, button is too thick. Let's say 13 maybe. Yeah, it's good now. Okay, so I want now this button to be rounded. What's the property for that?
Dash radius.
Yeah,
Radius.
good. And 5 pixels would be enough. Also, now I need to remove this black border from it. So what we'll say is, we're going to say border to be none, meaning that I don't need this border anymore. Okay, now we have this clean border, and I guess padding now is reduced, so I'm gonna get it back to 15 pixels. Yeah, it's good. Now I want the color for this button to be exactly like this. What should we do? Well,
We will use
yeah.
Zilla
We'll use
that we
yeah, good. We'll use ColorZilla. So I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna take this to this button. It's gonna get this color. Click it, and now I've copied it. And inside this login BTN, I'm gonna say background dash color to be this. Save it, refresh it. Now we have this color. But again,
How did you use color? How did you bring that color over there?
okay, how did I do it? So basically, first of all, you're gonna go to the website you want to pick colors from, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then you are going to click on this extension, the ColorZilla one, okay. Click it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to move your cursor where you want it to pick the color from. Okay, I want to pick the color from here, so I'm gonna take it here, and then I'll just let's say I want to pick this color. I'll just click it. It picked up the color. It just picks it
Okay.
up. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this, and yeah, now it's good. Okay, what's the problem for this button? There is some problem here. Like if you were to see this button and this Facebook's button, we have some problem.
The text color is different.
Exactly, the text is white. So what's the property for text color?
Color.
Yeah, color and then white. Great. Now I want to make it bolder. How can I do that? We did studied about this property.
Yeah.
What was the property?
It was the font weight.
Exactly, good. Font, weight, and I'll say, let's say bolder. Not just bold, I want it bolder. Yeah, now we have this bold. Okay, first we'll style this button and then we'll move towards this link. Okay, let's target this button first. So what was the name of this button? I guess it was, yeah, create BTN. So tell me, how do we target this create BTN? Dot, good, and then create BTN.
Create.
Good. So what should we do with this button? Now I want you to tell me each and every property. What should we do first?
Center the button.
Center the button. Okay, how can we do that?
Margin.
Very good. Margin and then auto. Very good. But again, it's not going to work. Why is that?
Because it's an inline.
Exactly. Because it's an inline element. So how can we change that?
Display
Yeah,
block.
good. Display to be blocked. It's the same old story. Okay. So now what? It's in the center. What should we do next? I'm not gonna say anything. You have to dictate me everything.
Now you have to give it space from the inside. We're going to use padding.
Exactly. Good. Let's say give it a space from the inside. What's the property for that?
Padding.
Good. Padding. And let's say for the above button we had 15. Yeah, 15 pixels. Save it. Great. Now we have padding from the inside. What should we do next?
Now we're going to change the color.
Okay, color. How do we pick the color? This exact color. How do we do that?
Colorzilla.
Yeah, click Colorzilla. Take your cursor towards this button. When you reach the target, click it, and then inside the actual code, give it a property of background dash color to be this. Save it, refresh it. Great. Now what should we do next?
Now you're going to get rid of the border.
Yeah, good. How can we do that?
Border.
Border to be
None.
none. Yeah. The next thing.
Now you're going to make the. Now you're going to do border radius.
Okay, good. Let's say border radius. Let's say 5 pixels would be enough. Yes. Next thing. The last thing. No. There's like two things left.
The text color.
Good. Let's say color to be white. And now we have this last thing. And what's this last thing?
The font weight.
Good. The font. The font weight to be bolder. Yeah. Great. Okay, now what we want to do is I want to get this anchor tag in the center. How can we do that?
Margin.
Anchor tag is an inline element.
Oh, enter.
It's a text. So how can we do that?
A text align.
Good. Text line in the center, you're perfectly alright, but again it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Although this property is perfectly alright. Why do you think it doesn't work? Sorry?
Inline.
Link.
Exactly, because this is an inline element. If I were to, turn on my pesticide here, and you see this box? It's as much wide as the text in it. So does it have the space to move around? Like I put text in the center, does it have the space to move around? It doesn't have the space. So how can it get into the center? So what's the solution for that? How can we get it in the center?
And then display it as a
Good,
block.
good. Display to be blocked. Save it. Now we have this in the center, but it doesn't have a really good color. So let's give it a nice color, and that is it's the tricky part here. Yeah, this color. So for the I'm gonna say color, not the background, because it's a text. Great. Another thing, we don't have this underline under this link. How can we remove this underline? Do you remember the first class or second, and not the first maybe third or second class?
Text decoration.
Oh, very good. Text decoration. Text decoration. I don't want any decoration. So what should we say?
None.
None. Yeah, good. Yeah. Great. Now all of the website is ready. Now the only thing is left. The only thing left is this. Can you see this form? It's like it has this 3D effect. Like it's like it's coming out of the screen. We have this 3D effect here. Can you see it? Like it's just, it feels like it's
Yeah.
outside the screen.
Yeah.
So this is basically called shadow. So this is a shadow. It is a really cool effect. Also, let me decrease this form's width as well. Maybe let's say instead of 55, I'm going to say, let's say 45 maybe. Yeah, now it's good. Or maybe let's say 40 would be enough. Great. This 40 is looking good. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to have this 3D effect. So basically, this property you're seeing is this is called shadow. Okay, the property name is box shadow. Okay, the property is box shadow. This box shadow takes in 5 parameters from you, 5 inputs from you. The first input is how much do you want the shadow to move on the x-axis. The second parameter is how much do you want your shadow to move on the y-axis, okay, the vertical axis. The third thing is how much do you want your shadow to be blurred. The fourth thing is how much do you want your shadow to spread. And the last thing is the color of your shadow. I'm going to repeat it again. In fact, I'm going to write it first. Let's say the first thing it wants is x-axis space. The second thing it wants is the y-axis. The third thing it wants is the blur, like how much do you want to blur the colors. And the last thing it wants is the second last is the spread, how much do you want your shadow to spread. And the last thing it wants is the color. Okay, the first thing this property wants from you is the x-axis, like how much do you want your shadow to move on the horizontal axis. The second is the y-axis, the vertical one, like how much do you want the color to be blurred, the shadow color to be blurred. The fourth one is the spread, how much do you want your shadow to spread. And the last one is how much do you what color do you want the shadow to be. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put the actual properties here. So let's say for the first thing, we just put some really bad shadow. Let's say 10 pixels I want from the x-axis, 20 pixels I want my shadow to move over the y-axis. I want my shadow to be 40 pixels blurred. I want my shadow to be, let's say, 20 pixels spread. And last thing, I want my shadow to have a red color. Save it, refresh it. Can you see the shadow now?
Yeah.
But again, it's a really bad shadow. So let's have a really good one. So how can we do that? By reducing the properties, like not overdoing it. So let's say I want to have, let's say, 2 pixels from the x-axis, 2 pixels, or maybe let's say 3 pixels from the y-axis, and let's say I want to blur it 10 pixels, and I only want to spread it maybe 3 pixels, and I want to have it a really clean and beautiful color of light gray. Save it, refresh it. Can you see the shadow?
Yeah.
So you can increase it or decrease it according to your context. But
I don't
again,
see the shadow.
okay, wait, let me increase it a bit. 5,
Where is it? You only did 3
5.
this time. Oh.
Maybe let me, or maybe if I were to give it some different color, let's say red.
Oh, I see it now.
Okay, let's say if I were to put a gray color, it'll be a little dark. Now you can see it.
Yeah, I could see it now.
Yeah. Because of the light gray color, it doesn't have a really, it doesn't catch your
Like a
attention right
3D
away.
effect.
Yeah.
So you have to put all of these parameters together with box shadow always?
Yeah, always. All of these 5 should be, it should come always right after one another. For example, first it have the x-axis,
Okay.
then the y, then the spread. Sorry, not the spread. Then the blur. Like
Yeah.
how much do you want your shadow to be blurred? For example, if I were to increase it, my color you see here is going to be blurred more. Can you see the
Yeah.
difference?
Yep.
Yeah, it's more blurred now. So the last thing is the spread, like how much do you want it to spread. For example, if we were to write 50 pixels here, it's going to spread it 50 pixels. Okay, but again, it doesn't seem good.
Oh, I get it.
Okay, so now we have an actual working, not working, an actual design of an actual website. Okay,
Yeah.
Can you give padding to the forgot password? It's so
In,
close.
yeah. It should. Yeah, we don't have space, but should it be padding or should it be margin?
Margin.
Yeah, margin. So let's give it a margin of, let's say, maybe 5 pixels and 0, meaning 5 pixels from top and bottom, and maybe some more, 10 maybe. Yeah, it's good now. Okay, so any questions about this one, this project? Because if you don't have any questions, I'm going to assign you a lot of work now. Okay, so are you sure you don't have any questions about this? Okay, so for the homework part, you have two homeworks, two assignments. The first one is you have to create this login page. Okay, this login Facebook page what we did just now. Okay, and plus you have to create this registration page as well. But I think I have missed something. I've told you about the select boxes, right?
Yes.
But I haven't told you about these ones, right? So they're the same. They're also the input. Okay, they're also the input. So I'm gonna write input. But for the type part, it's called radio. Okay, it's called radio. So now you have this button.
Oh,
Okay,
got it.
and one more thing. Also, if you were to see here, you don't have to put these borders. Okay, we haven't discussed this thing up until at this point, so you don't have to put these borders. Okay.
Okay.
Borders are not mandatory. You have to use only the tags, only the styling part we have discussed in this class. You don't have to use anything else.
Got
Okay.
it.
So any
For
more
both of
questions?
the pages?
Sorry.
For both of the
Yeah,
pages?
both of the
Only
pages.
tags and
Yeah.
styling part?
Sorry. The both of the
You said for
pages.
both of the pages, only the tags and the styling parts?
You have to put. You have to create the login page. Okay. It's a separate assignment. And then you
Okay.
have to create this registration page. Now it's a different assignment. Both of them are
Okay.
different.
Okay.
Okay. Well, any more questions? If you have any questions, you can ask it. Okay, because these assignments are now only going to be tough from now onwards, because we are actually moving towards real websites. Okay. Okay, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have any questions, you can leave the meeting, and inshallah we'll meet tomorrow.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay, sir. Allah Hafiz.
Allah
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.